In a world where geopolitical tensions simmer beneath a facade of diplomacy, an unlikely coalition emerges. From the shadows of the Cold War's legacy to the forefront of global controversy, witness the rise of a new era where global powers unite with a single aim to challenge the expansion of NATO. The spark of dissent. Our story begins with a growing disquiet among nations, each with distinct visions and strategic interests, yet aligned by one common adversary: NATO. NATO, initially formed as a bastion of Western military cooperation, faces criticism for its perceived aggressive expansion and political stance. Countries like Russia and China view this as a direct threat to their regional influence and sovereignty. The very essence of NATO's eastward expansion has sparked significant unease among its neighbors, notably Russia and China, who see this as a zero-sum game. Forming the unlikely alliance. Amidst brewing tensions, leaders from Russia, China, and Iran have initiated talks to form a strategic alliance. This coalition aims to counterbalance NATO's influence and protect their interests. China, leveraging its economic prowess, and Russia, with its vast military capabilities, alongside Iran's strategic position in the Middle East, present a formidable front. These countries are not just uniting out of fear or animosity towards NATO. They are also drawn together by opportunities for economic and military cooperation. A striking example of this burgeoning alliance is Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit to Serbia, strategically timed to coincide with the 25th anniversary of the NATO bombing of the Chinese embassy in Belgrade. Xi's visit underscored a shared narrative of Western aggression. Xi's visit to Serbia was not just a diplomatic gesture, but a clear message to the West. It highlighted China's readiness to cement ties with countries that have historically been skeptical of NATO. This trip was a deliberate step to probe for cracks in European unity and to strengthen alliances with nations that could serve as levers against NATO influence. This alliance building extends beyond mere visits. The economic agreements signed and the military collaborations discussed during such visits are bricks in a rapidly growing wall against Western dominance. Xi's approach in Serbia is a template for how China aims to engage with Eastern Europe and other regions, weaving a network of strategic partnerships that challenge the status quo established by NATO. The first test: Ukraine, Taiwan, or Iran. The real test for this nascent alliance could come at three potential flashpoints: Ukraine, Taiwan, and Iran. Ukraine stands on the frontier of East and West, a symbolic and strategic battleground where NATO's support for Ukraine clashes with Russian interests. Across the world in Taiwan, the self-governing island represents a critical interest for China, viewed as a rebel province to be reclaimed, potentially by force. In the Middle East, Iran finds itself a central player, with its nuclear ambitions and strategic location, making it a pivot in the power dynamics of this emerging alliance. The outcome of conflicts in these regions could very well dictate the future of international relations and the balance of power for decades to come. Implications and consequences. As this alliance solidifies, the implications for global politics are profound. The balance of power, the nature of international diplomacy, and the rules of engagement could all be rewritten. We're not just looking at a new Cold War. This is potentially a complete reshaping of the global order, where multilateralism is replaced by strategic blocs and spheres of influence. In a world divided, the path to peace remains a complex puzzle. The emergence of a new axis challenging NATO is not just a shift in power, it's a signal that the future is unwritten, and every nation will play a part in drafting the next chapter of history. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel